Going live.
And the other person could have, let's say, a red mark or a scratch. Hey everybody, this is David Kohlmeier, the Problem Solver. Thanks so much for joining us today, Thursday, 4:30 live every single week. We are on Facebook and social media. Welcome to the Problem Solver. I'm a retired police officer of 17 years. I am helping people now, not in uniform, and I'm working with different problem solvers, different nonprofits, leaders in the community, lawyers, doctors, nonprofit leaders, you name it. I'm working every single week to help people solve problems and to also share and educate people about different nonprofits and social services that are available in Clark County. We have a website, which is a progressive web app called theproblemsolver.vegas. If you look quickly on your screen, or if you're driving and you hear this, theproblemsolver.vegas, as we go through it real quickly, a bunch of tabs, resources, people looking for employment for resources, different nonprofits, people that are homeless that need help. We have the podcasts that are weekly that are showcased as well on the Problem Solver app. If you have any problems, you can click on the top screen where it says problems. You can actually literally click the button and put in what type of problem you're having, whether you got arrested, accident, injury, you need a wheelchair, whatever the situation may be, you need clothing, housing, fill in the information. Myself or other problem solvers will get back to you and we will basically get you the help that you need. Thank you again for joining the Problem Solver. Today we have some special guests. I have John Williams to the left of me, who's my co-host.
Hey,
John, thanks for joining today.
I'm glad to be back, I tell you. Thank you for inviting me.
John was recently on for the Wheelchair Foundation. He's helping people with wheelchairs, getting it out to the community. And since he's doing such amazing good work in the community, I wanted to bring John as a co-host time to time to talk about what he's doing and to bring other nonprofits. And today in front of me, we have Brandi Kirka. Thanks, Brandi, for showing up today.
Yes, thank you for letting me be here. I'm really excited to be part of this.
So Brandi's with Conquer Paralysis Now, which is a nonprofit for the last, you said 21 years, right?
Yep.
And I just felt that you're doing really good things in the community, so I wanted to bring you on the show, talk about what you're doing in general. I always think it's great when nonprofits come on the show, they educate me, so when I speak to so many different people, I can say, oh, go here, go over to Paralysis Now, go to this location, or you need a wheelchair, get with John Williams, or you need an attorney, go over here to, the Defenders or Richard Harris or different attorneys. So it's just, every single week I'm gathering so much and I'm just putting it back out to people. So tell us, Brandi, first of all, just a little bit about yourself. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Littlestown, Pennsylvania, which is a little town in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania.
What brought you out here to Big Vegas?
Actually to work for Sam Schmidt.
Okay.
My background is in exercise science and adapted physical activity, so really working with the special needs populations. And on a whim, I put in an application for a job in Vegas and got a phone call, and they weren't hiring at that point, but had a guy that was hiring and got connected with Sam Schmidt, and he brought me out to Vegas for about 10 days to just meet him and learn about him and what he's doing. And I couldn't say no, and I uprooted and moved to Vegas.
You got to tell everybody about Sam Schmidt. It's a story in itself. Mm-hmm. He should be on this show also someday. But tell us about Sam.
Please.
Yeah, Sam was an IndyCar driver and wrecked and was paralyzed from the neck down. So he's quadriplegic now in 2000. And while he was in the hospital, he had great support. He has amazing family. He had very good insurance with being a professional athlete and the whole IndyCar community backing him up. While he was in the hospital, a lot of people around him did not have that care. And he started an Indy Lights team, which is kind of like the minor leagues for IndyCar, for anyone who doesn't know what that is, and a foundation to help support people with spinal cord injuries and to find a cure, all while he was sitting in a hospital bed.
How many years ago was that injury?
In 2000. And when he was initially injured, they told him he was going to be on the ventilator to the rest of his life, put him in a nursing home, no point to even bother with him. Mm-hmm. And his family followed, and while he's still in the hospital, he started just going for it and getting back to life.
How old is he now?
I don't know if he wants me to say that.
Older gentleman?
Younger than me.
I think he's about 56.
Yeah.
Okay. So, is he better? Is he in a wheelchair now, or is he?
Yes, he's still in a wheelchair now. So he's paralyzed from the neck down, so no function in his legs or arms. And over the past 21 years, he has not slowed down one bit. And he actually is an owner of an IndyCar team, involved in a lot of different businesses, and travels about 150 days a year prior to COVID. Slowed down a little bit now, but he hasn't really let anything stop him in this time.
John, as well, we take life for granted. I mean, even like my dad, I think he's your age, he's 75, just the truth is you're lucky to wake up in the morning, and even if you got a little bit of a back pain or something, but there's people in a lot worse situations. I mean, I couldn't even imagine neck down, wow.
Why don't you talk about Tiara, how you and I have a mutual friend in Tiara. And I think David would like to hear this too.
Yeah, so this is how me and John got connected. Tiara, I had met before we even opened Driven, which is a program of Conquer Paralysis Now. And I was just out at some events, kind of getting to know the community, and I ran into Tiara and met her. And as we were starting that Driven program, she offered to kind of be part of our startup and train with us and help train our trainers as we were opening our doors. So she was actually one of our first clients. And during this time, she's made great progress physically. She's gotten some control of her arms and able to do things more independently. But in that time, she's also started a few businesses, bought a house, and made it fully accessible for herself, and also became a board member for Conquer Paralysis Now.
How did she get injured?
It was a car accident. She was going up skiing to Utah, and they got in an accident, and she never thought she would make it. And her and her dad was okay. And I think when was the fundraiser? About a year after the one that when I met her, actually?
I think it was 2019.
It was 2019. But she can actually move her hands now. She came over for dinner, and she actually moved and did some activities, and that floored me. I mean, you guys must do incredible work. Those wheelchairs that she's in, they must be about $30,000, $25,000, $30,000, right?
Yeah.
Minimum. She has to lean back in her chair, every 20 minutes or 15 minutes to get the blood circulating. So she's got to go back. She goes, excuse me for a second. She goes back, and then I can't remember how long she was back. She comes up, and she starts over again.
Was she the driver of the accident?
No.
Passenger?
Yeah, passenger, yeah.
You got to be so careful, even as a passenger, these days. Statistically, I think the passenger is more likely to get hit as a driver. You don't see the right side of the passengers. I know even when I was a police officer in New York City, for some reason, it always came up that I was always in New York City, you'd be the operator as the driver, as a cop, and then or the recorder. And the recorder would use like the radio and figure out where you're going. But statistically, the recorder would always get injured or hurt as a police officer. So you got to just be so careful as a passenger more than a driver these days. So she is now, what does she do with Driven Neuro Recovery Center? She's part of that?
She was a client of ours first, and then she actually joined our board this year.
Okay.
So she's also helping push our message out there and just do greater things in the community.
Okay. So tell us a little bit. Okay. So tell us a little, I guess, more about the Conquer Paralysis Now. What exactly do you guys do in the community, specifically in Vegas?
So just a background on Conquer Paralysis Now. We started in 2000 while Sam was in the hospital. And
2000?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was originally for finding a cure for paralysis and really supporting research that was out there. And we've seen a lot of amazing progress. We've put about $18 million towards that in this time. We've seen rats walk and a lot of cool things, but we really want to cross that over to humans and really push that side. So in 2018, I was working for Sam. I was his assistant, trainer, a little bit of everything for about 5 years. We still don't know what my job title was for that. But we just got to talking. A lot of people in the community were reaching out to him, and outpatient therapy wouldn't take them because their injury level was too high or their insurance wouldn't accept it. And that was kind of my background in my field of what I wanted to work in. So we just kind of had a conversation, and we want to fight for that cure, but it's not where we want it to be yet. So we need to work on helping people now. So what there is a cure or treatment that they're able to move forward with it, and their bodies are ready, their minds are ready. So we opened a program here called Driven Neuro Recovery Center, which is located in downtown Las Vegas. We opened that in 2018, and it's a fitness and wellness center for people with disabilities.
I think I passed by, actually. Is it More was like by Bridger.
Yes. Yep.
And it's it's like, I don't know, I remember driving down, it's on the left-hand side or something.
Yeah, right across from Las Vegas Academy. You know where that is?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I actually thought when I passed by it, because I know there's an apartment building, I think, right next door, like a mid-rise. And I just thought it was like an unusual location for that. And I passed by, and I think I knew somebody that went there too. Going back to what you just said, did you say that they were doing research on like animals or...
Yeah. With a lot of the research that's been done, it's been on rats, and they've seen a lot of progress. And now
was that done locally here at this place?
No, it was supported all around the country and the world.
But that wasn't being done in Vegas.
No, we were putting forward money to help researchers to move forward the progress. Here, Driven was started here in Vegas, so that's fully local.
What's the holistic approach? I don't understand how that goes into that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of parts to Driven. So part of recovery is physical. You have to get your body to where you want it to be, but the other side is the mental side and the social, emotional aspects. So we don't just target the physical side for recovery. We target the whole person. So with our center, we have an accessible fitness center where everything's wheelchair accessible and just has the adaptations for people with disabilities. We have a yoga studio where we do chair yoga classes or different things in there. And we also have activity-based training, which is a fitness-based approach to recovery. So it's very intense, very time intensive, and we're really pushing to help recover the neurological system. We also have support groups, an in-house counselor. We do socials. We do educational workshops. So if they're interested in certain areas like CBD or adaptive driving, whatever it may be, we bring in a professional to come educate them on it so that they can get involved, do it safely, whatever it may be. So we really try to, look at them as a whole person and find what their needs are so we can really make their recovery.
So you have a family support too, because sometimes the family that wasn't involved in the accident, it's really mentally hard on them, physically hard on them, financially hard on them. So, that must be terrible to have a loved one that needs so much help.
Yeah, we try to provide services for the family and caregivers as well, because exactly their life was uprooted. So much has changed for them, and oftentimes they focus on their family member, their loved one that was injured, but their life's been altered so much that they forget to take care of themselves sometimes. So we do offer services to them as well. They're able to go to the support groups, able to get counseling, able to use the fitness center. We'll even have our trainers work with them if they're interested to help them do certain exercises to strengthen. If they need to transfer, they need to have strong backs, different things like that. The trainers will work with them to help them, get a program that can help them in the future.
Just to recap, so the nonprofit is an office here in Vegas.
Yep.
And are there different chapters throughout the United States?
At this point, we're just located in Vegas.
Got it.
So the research, we do connect with people around the world. But as for the Driven portion and where we're located, we're just here. Hopefully, eventually we can change that. But for now, Vegas is our start.
All right. So the nonprofit, it basically exists here. And then you guys open the Driven Neuro Recovery Center, which is downtown. And people will go to that location. And what's taking place there? It's rehab specifically more? Like, tell me, if I walk inside there, what am I seeing?
Yeah, and that's what I was just kind of touching on. It has a little bit of everything to really help the person, but the main focus is the activity-based training, which is, really one-on-one, two-on-one, sometimes three-on-one training with these clients.
Like physical therapy?
We're not physical therapists, so we definitely aren't allowed to say that. But our trainers are more exercise scientists, kinesiologists. Okay. So it's more of a fitness-based approach, but it is
fitness therapy?
Yeah, kind of along those lines.
So basically, you're doing different things to help people in regards to people that have paralysis.
Yeah, and we actually we switched over to the name Driven opposed to just using Conquer Paralysis now there because we are open to all disabilities. So we didn't want to limit it to just the paralysis side of things. And with Sam, he's so driven that we just went with that name. But yeah, we work with all kinds of clients. So we have spinal cord injuries, strokes, brain injuries, multiple sclerosis, cerebral palsy. We don't turn anyone away, regardless of
amputation. Do you help there too? Amputation.
Yep, we can work with those as well.
You can.
Yep.
So anything in regards to open disability, how does it work? Social Security, Medicare, is it just open in general? I mean, it's a nonprofit, so do you need medical insurance?
We don't take insurance at this point since we aren't physical therapy or kind of the standard of what's known in the
It's kind of out of the box, right? I mean, it's kind of, okay.
And
You're kind of doing different
insurance,
things.
yeah, insurance likes their box, and we're kind of outside of it. But that is something that we're trying to work towards, is how to fight to get in that box to get that support. So we are private pay, but anyone who can't afford the services, we work with them to get them inside. So we don't turn anyone away due to their financials. That's where our foundation is still coming in. They're supporting research, but it's also raising money for scholarships for anyone who needs it to get in there.
I just can't figure out how, David, somebody can afford a $35,000 wheelchair. I don't care how much money you make. That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
How do they, what's the bottom line? They can't afford it. They only make $20,000 a year. How are they going to get that $35,000?
Are there grants or there?
Well, we don't do the wheelchair side of it.
But where do you recommend them to go for that?
We try to connect them. There's different wheelchair vendors in town. So if they do have any form of insurance, a lot of times their insurance will help to an extent. If not, we do have people that donate wheelchairs to us that will try to get them connected. And we do partner with some of those vendors in the community. So if we know someone in major need, sometimes they'll even donate a chair to them. Or we work with groups like yours.
You know, we collect electric wheelchairs about 1 to 2 a week sometime. Mm-hmm. So most of them need batteries because there's so much money. Mm-hmm. And so you guys take electric wheelchairs, used ones. I can donate them to you.
No, that's not our primary. Just if
so
one of our clients.
Where would I donate? Say if I get an electric wheelchair, like I will, where should I put that? I have my foundations I go to now, but I want to know where I should take it for you.
That's not our primary focus. So we just, if someone has a wheelchair that they want to donate, we'll reach out to our clients to see if anyone's in need at the time before we accept the donation. Or if it is, a really good chair, we'll kind of hold on to it and, wait for someone to need it. But unfortunately, we don't have a lot of storage room at this point, so we can't take too many. We just try to make the connections in the community that are necessary.
But I did hear rumors, David, you guys might be looking at a bigger building?
We're definitely interested in continuing to grow.
How big do you need?
We're trying to figure out what would kind of be the next steps in the future. Currently, we're right under 8,000 feet, and we are outgrowing our space. So we have some wait lists to get in there. We're actually starting to even take over our yoga studio to try to get some additional equipment in there. We have some very advanced technology, and a lot of it is very, very large and takes up a lot of space. And wheelchairs, we have to have everything ADA accessible. So we are looking at what could be next steps in the future, and who all would want to be included in a jump like that.
John, what were you thinking in regards to the space?
Well, I'm looking for a space too, but my space I'm looking
storage,
for is
right?
1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
You probably need 50,000 or 30,000 or 20,000. I do know quite a few people that can help you if you want me to, look around. And I can't take it because I don't have the money to pay for it, but there is space out there that's very reasonable for nonprofits. And I can talk to you about that too. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the stuff is you're saying private pay, but even the rent down there, isn't it expensive? Is it how much? So if I have a disability and I need to pay private pay to get in, what is the pricing? What are the fees?
We have different rates. So there's monthly costs. We try to get everyone on a consistent program. So we don't want you coming once every 3 weeks. You're not going to see any progress there.
Okay.
So with once a week, you're looking at close to $300 a month. And then it kind of works its way up from there. But like I said, it's private pay. If they can afford it, they pay that. If not, they fill out a financial application. We have a one-on-one meeting with them to figure out what their specific situation is. We don't want to, make them lose their homes or their money to try to get the recovery. So we will work with them on their situation and figure out what they can afford to get in there. And we really take everything into consideration of, who's living in your house, what expenses you have, who else you have to support in your home.
Evaluate the whole situation.
Mm-hmm. And also, if you have a newer injury, you are more likely to see progress on the front end. So, we try to get you on as much as possible. So it's really a case-by-case basis, but that's the great thing about what we do. We don't turn anyone away. We know when they have these traumatic accidents that they lost their job, their loved ones have to lose their jobs to take care of them, and it puts them in a bind, and we don't want money to be the reason that they're not able to take care of themselves.
How many people would you say on a daily basis are going into the location?
We have about 60 a week that are coming in.
60 people a week. Most of the people are involved in car accidents. Are they injured from car accidents, or how are they mostly injured?
It's a big range. So car accidents is always a very common one with the spinal cord injuries, brain injuries as well. But some of them are, like strokes or MS, where it just kind of happened. And on the spinal cord injury side and the brain injury side, car accidents, gunshots. Sometimes it's just freak accidents that you would never even expect. So we have quite the range. Even some are from birth.
You just made me think, because I just got a text message before. If people get injured, while it's a commission of a crime, there's the victims of crimes. Do you get any money from that if someone's injured? Can you use any of those monies?
Yep, we do have support for some of our clients from victims of crime. Same workers' comp. So there are some ways around that people can get funded if they have, other alternatives.
Because I know if it's specifically, actually the other day someone called up with a car accident and I was trying to help them out. And I was looking it up to see, but it really has to be like a commission of a crime. Like, I don't even think I guess hit and run could be one thing. But there's a lot of hit and runs in town and people are getting injured. So you deal with a lot of people that are injured, unusual injuries. If you don't mind, maybe share like 2 or 3. Can you share some of we're not going to talk about names, but maybe share about some of the people that are there, that unusual stories that happen to them that you're helping, or some. The next step I would say is like, what are success stories? But if you want to share maybe 2 or 3 people that you, what maybe happened to them and how you're helping them.
Yeah. I don't want to give too many details about specific.
You can leave a little bit out.
Specific cases.
Just to give an idea, because I think, it's interesting, because in the beginning when we talk about the program, like driven, neuro recovery, most people just don't know what it means. You know what I'm saying? Even myself, like, what exactly do you do? Now, I pass by the location, so it hits.
Yeah.
And I know somebody, I think, who's in a wheelchair that has like a stroke, and I think he's been there before trying to get some help. So if you could just paint the picture a little bit of maybe 2, 3 people that what happened to them in some regards, and then what kind of treatment or what they're doing, and they're feeling better or success.
Yeah. One of our clients was in an accident and was paralyzed, had very little function, kind of below the waist, kind of not very much core either. So had trouble with really sitting up for too long, or, transferring in and out of his wheelchair. He's been with us for about 8 months now. And since then, he's made really good progress. He's got a lot of core function back. He's able to transfer himself, so he doesn't need as much support on that end. But he's also now taking steps with braces on his legs.
Awesome.
So at first he was not able to use his legs whatsoever when he was in there. And now with some braces, he is actually able to walk. So has made really amazing progress here.
Someone like that, are they going like every day or like twice a week, or?
That one's about 5 times a week.
Okay. Very committed to get better.
Yeah, so that's why we try to get people in there as much as they possibly can. Even if we go to the gym 1 day a week, we're not going to really see much progress. So we try to get them in as much as possible. And, even regardless of financials, we have different options, like weightlifting club, where we have a couple trainers who can really support a bigger group of people and help them progress. So we try to offer different things to get them in, as often as possible to really help their progress in there.
Okay.
We have a lot of just interesting stories of, we help a lot on the physical side where we're seeing people walk again. He was kind of sharing a bit about Tiara where, at first she was using a sip and puff wheelchair, and we got her out of the sip and puff. She's in a hand controlled wheelchair, and now she's able to, feed herself, hug her kids, use her cell phone, and just be more independent. And that was, amazing for her. And, she's really progressed since she's been around.
I text her, and she texts faster than I do. And she does it with that in the little, like a pencil in her mouth. Unbelievable. She's fast.
Yep. But then on the other side, we were also seeing people go to college for the first time, go back to work, get their driver's license, start dating again. So we're seeing a lot of people just not only making that physical progress, but they're trying to get back to life and, just figure out what their new normal is, which I hate using that term with, COVID, hearing it so much. They found a new way, and they're just trying to do the best that they can. And, we even had some that have tried to start their own nonprofits now and try to give back and help in other ways.
I know the mid-rise that's next to you. Do you find that people are trying to live near that area because it's easier to get access to the location if they're going there monthly?
That's why we wanted to be downtown. We knew there were options for people to be down there to
More
live.
accessible.
Yeah, it was kind of the work, play, live atmosphere. So people could easily get around. They can go out to lunch afterwards. So we do have some clients that are coming in from nearby where they can just roll right over. So that does make it convenient. But then also we're seeing people go out afterwards. So they're going out with their wife afterwards to a dinner date, or going and checking out Fremont afterwards, where they haven't really been going out or socializing since their injuries or their accidents.
It's so interesting because I passed by the location and I went to the mid-rise. I knew somebody there. It's just funny to put it all together now because you just drive by a location, you have no clue what's going on there. And I in the beginning, when I think I saw Driven on there, I'm thinking like it's some type of driving program.
That's a police officer there. They scan when they drive. They looking.
So it's interesting because I was like, I really would get confused of what that was, and I wasn't sure,
Yeah.
because with the name. And there's some programs in the police world, for like crime prevention, where you take young kids and they put on like these goggles where it looks like there's alcohol, and then they make believe that you're driving. So I literally thought it was some type of program, like, and sometimes these names get confusing to the average person. Like I said, I passed by several times. I had no clue what was going on there. It's amazing to know what's taking place there now. And I know in the areas there, it's a little bit residential, I think, to the east of it. It's got to be great for people, close by. Like, it's probably better that it's kind of downtown than it is up in Summerlin, where more people, I don't want to say transient population, but I guess it's more accessible, like buses, and it's more centrally located, right? Like if you're coming from Deserton or Eastern or something like that, and if you're coming from another area, I guess it's centrally located, which is actually good. And it seems like a nice street in general to actually have it on. Yeah,
and that was a big part of it is, Summerlin doesn't want to go to Henderson. Henderson doesn't go to Summerlin. So now we're just right in the middle for everyone. But a lot of our clients do take the RTC or public transportation to get there. So we wanted a space that was really easy to get to for anyone.
Do you guys do fundraisers?
Yes, we do.
Like what?
So we have 2 major fundraisers a year. We actually have one in Indianapolis coming up in May, and it's also a virtual event, so anyone around the country is able to join. Okay. That's one of our biggest ones, but it's right before the Indy 500. So Sam owns that IndyCar team, or partial owner in IndyCar team. So we do it at that, and that's our biggest one for the year. So it's a big gala. We do auction items, raffles, wine packages. So it's a really exciting event, and just really share our story and the progress that the clients are making, and it's a great event. And then typically we have one here in the fall in Las Vegas. So we've done fun things like Speed Vegas in the past, and try to get a little bit more active. And then we do different things throughout the year. So we're looking at ways to partnerships with local gyms and create programs there. And then some of the car clubs are interested in, helping us, do fundraisers, golf outings, things like that. So we really try to get involved in as much as we can and find as many different ways to raise money. We don't want to just rely on clients paying or, just one funding source. So we write grants, we do events, we find annual donors, a little bit of everything. And they're the ones who make all of it possible to keep this running and help all these people.
I think it's amazing the stuff that you're doing there. I just, again, the reason why I wanted to start the Problem Solver was just to get information out, because a lot of people just don't know about these different nonprofits. John's doing wheelchairs, you're working with people that are disabled, and just people just don't know where to go. Now, my big thing over the years, even when I was a cop doing community policing, was United Way, which was 211. If someone calls 211 United Way and I say, look, I'm disabled, I need a place to get me better, I have no insurance, would they refer me to you? You familiar with 211?
We've tried to reach out to a lot of groups like that. Sometimes we make connections and then they leave and then it kind of gets lost. So we're not getting referrals from there right now. So we would love that connection.
We should definitely set it up in general.
Yeah.
I think it's
both of us, we can do it.
Yeah, we have to set it up because, that's the only thing that's out there. Technically these days that refers people for social services. I think there's an email. You just have to send in exactly what you need and then they refer people. Yeah. I just think not enough people, and also probably gyms. The biggest thing is really doing news releases and educating the public that you exist, because I'm assuming a lot of people do not know. Mm-hmm. Just to recap, I know you sent me some paperwork. I just want to read it. So Driven Neuro Recovery Center is Nevada's only accessible fitness and wellness center for people with disabilities. Corner of 7th and Bridger, downtown Las Vegas, become a sanctuary of self-improvement for individuals with spinal cord injuries and other physical disabilities on the physical, mental, and emotional levels. From victims of brain injuries to children with muscular dystrophy, Driven offers an equitable fitness environment for all, including activity-based training, wheelchair-friendly strengthening and cardio equipment, weightlifting club, and accessible yoga classes. An extension program of Conquer Paralysis Now, Driven's nonprofit nature, offers financing options and some services even for free of charge, such as counseling and support groups. I mean, it's amazing. It's funny, we just talk about when I read it here, it's like, wow, there's a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
So I wanted to read that.
It's hard to do the elevator pitch because there's so much to share.
I mean, anyone that's disabled needs to basically go to you, whether they have money or not. There may be, I kind of feel like more, like you mentioned, John, like more of a holistic approach where you're doing things a little bit out of the box, a little bit, or different strategies because you're not really technically doing physical therapy. Mm-hmm. You're doing different things more. I kind of feel like, I said it before, fitness therapy.
Yeah.
Is that such a thing? I just came up with fitness therapy.
That's kind of what it is. Yep. And we do collaborate with the physical therapists in the area. So they fully support what we're doing and understand. And it's a great option for them because when they have a client, they don't want to just send them home after their insurance runs out or they plateau and they can't come there anymore. So it's been a great relationship for them to be able to refer people right over to us and know that their patients are going to get care after they leave. And with that, insurance has been a nightmare for a lot of these people when they're getting these major accidents. Sam, for example, when he was injured, he had 6 months of inpatient therapy. Now, prior to COVID, they were looking at about 6 weeks of inpatient. After COVID, I've actually had some conversations recently, and it's as short as 2 weeks. So someone with a major stroke, a major spinal injury, they're getting sent home 2 weeks where they're barely recovered from their surgery, let alone getting any rehab or improvements. And, their family has to adjust. They have to get an accessible home, wheelchairs, all this stuff in such a short amount of time. And it's nearly impossible for them. So, Driven's one of the options that, when they do get sent home or their insurance runs out after even outpatient therapy, this is where they can come, and no matter how long they've been injured or what their situation is, we can help for as long as they want to be there.
I kind of feel like you need to really set up housing nearby to have like a contract with that mid-rise next door, just so if someone needs space that you have some type of, group rate or something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's more reasonable. I mean, I know it's hard, it gets expensive, but it's a good way of saying like, hey, you need 6 months to be going to Driven and then live right next door. I think that you need some type of housing situation. Do people ever bring that up or not really? I mean, if you're very committed, you don't want to go far away.
Yeah, it's definitely something people are interested in. The transportation is always one of the hardest things, and
just to get to the location.
Yeah, sometimes their ride doesn't show up, or they get sick and can't take them, and then they just can't come for the day. So we've been trying to figure out ways to help people with the travel side of things and to be able to get there.
Do you have a bucket list
of course.
What you need? Because you're talking to one guy here, David. He knows about every nonprofit in town. I know about every nonprofit in town. Like right now, how many wheelchairs you need, I can donate as many as you need right now. I usually don't do foundations and businesses. Mm-hmm. But for what you guys do, and my big thing is permanent use. And of course, it's going to be basically permanent use. Mm-hmm. So how many wheelchairs you need, I'll donate them, brand new in a box. And I think David and I together can help you on your bucket list. Tell me a couple things that you think. What do you guys need at the foundation? I know money.
You could always come up with a list in general. We could work on it.
Money's always one, right? We know that. Yeah. One of the biggest things is we just need more awareness. A lot of, like you were saying, a lot of people don't know we exist right now. And there's so many, different people that could be referring over. And we've connected with a lot of the PT groups and doctors. And we do have a good stream of coming in, but we just want people to be aware that we exist. So if they do need the help, that they know who to turn to.
What about equipment? Are you missing any equipment that you really need right now, but you can't afford it?
Oh, we have a wish list of equipment, of course, as well too. So we work towards grants or different things to try to get those. But we're always trying to have the latest and greatest technology, for these people with paralysis or contractures or different things. Sometimes just manual movements don't always work the best for them. So we like to add electric stimulation, vibration training, locomotor training, different things like that to see how their body's responding best. So we're always looking for the latest and greatest equipment. We actually just got a grant recently and are getting an anti-gravity treadmill in our location. And I think there's only maybe like one anywhere else around Southern Nevada. So
how does that work?
It's a treadmill that has kind of a big bubble around the person's legs, and it can take up to 80% of the gravity off. So if someone does have some function in their legs but can't really support their body weight, it can help take some of that weight off so that they're able to successfully do the walking.
Do you take donations like clothing or?
Is that probably not a necessity?
Yeah, at this point, we don't take donations like that. We try to connect with other organizations and foundations.
If someone needs something.
So if our clients need something, we just send them over that direction.
I think the bottom line is that I think that if we connected with some public relations people that do like these news releases and so on, like I deal with Ruth Furman, who's with ImageWords, and then I have Leslie LaGuardia with LaGuardia Media. There's Jennifer Bradley that basically does public relations as well. 3 key people that are locally in the community. If they could come together and just to get awareness and do news releases, I think that would be amazing. And I think it comes down to United Way. I think the 211, I mean, that's the main number to people that would call. Of course, we'll have this show here that we can get out. We can boost it to people. We can boost it where it says that if someone's disabled, right, if they could pop up in the screen. I mean, this is the new billboard, is the iPhone or your Android or whatever you got. So we definitely can get the message out. Any other new programs that are basically coming or anything else new in general? The bottom line is if you're disabled, and it's amazing that if you don't have any money or if you have some funds in general, that your place is a major place to help. Is there any other organizations that are in town? Of course, we're talking about yours, but are there other organizations? I mean, not that, nonprofits are competing against each other because everyone's working together. I mean, are there other nonprofits that exist helping people in this capacity?
No, and that's why
we
recreated it. We wanted to fill that gap here.
Okay.
So no one here does it. There are places around the country that do the training style or similar things. So we kind of have a unique program with all the different services that we offer. But we are partnered with Next Step. They're originally located in California, but have branches around the country and actually some even internationally. And that's who we do our training with, who is making sure that we are doing the latest and greatest on the research with the training. And we're partnered with the Christopher Reeves Network. They have the Neuro Recovery Network, which is, they're constantly updating research and protocols for spinal cord injuries and neurological conditions. So there are places around the country that are doing this kind of training, but not nearly enough. And there's many gaps in major cities all over the place that don't have this kind of service.
Years ago, before I came out to Vegas, I'm actually going to be here 20 years now. I think it's like February 7th. But I saw Christopher Reeves when he was in a wheelchair in New York City, Madison Square Garden. He came out and with the tube, and he was talking. And it was so sad to see the situation. This guy's Superman, right?
Superman.
And he came out. It was very inspirational to see him. I mean, this guy was still trying to fight in nonprofit and trying to help. It's amazing. A lot of people that get sick, even like Michael J. Fox and different people, like whatever their illness is, they try to become kind of like the brand ambassador to help the nonprofit. Sad to say that someone that's a celebrity has to get sick in order for them to back that specific nonprofit helping people. But I know Christopher Reeves was doing a lot, and then I guess stem cell therapy, which is new, and
yeah, and that's a lot of what Sam does too. He just had all the support when he was injured and saw what people were going through, so he really wanted to push that and make awareness in the community. And he does have a platform with the IndyCar team and being well known in the community. And since he's been injured, not only has he done the nonprofit, but over the last few years, he's actually partnered with Aero Electronics, which is a electronics company in Colorado. And they created a Corvette for him that he can drive with his head.
I saw that, I think.
Yeah, so we'll have to show you the video for that.
Yes.
But they took a Corvette, put the adaptations in it to get him to drive, and since then he raced. He went over 200 miles per hour this year with his head. He also did like Pikes Peak hill climb with the 153 turns up a mountain, raced Mario Andretti. So he's really trying to show people that you can keep going. You can get back at it, find something you love, find something you're passionate about, find that reason to wake up in the morning. And he really tries to push that message. And he'll go visit people in the hospital prior to COVID and them not being allowed in the hospital. So now it's Zoom calls, where he goes into their hospital room and gives them that tough love of, hey, you have your arms. Like,
you can do something.
Yeah, come on, you can do this. Like, this is what I'm doing. You can get out there. You can get over this hump. It's going to be hard, but something that can't come from a mother or a spouse. They don't know what they're going through. But Sam has that personal connection where he can really go in there and say, you can do this. You just have to find your reason to get out of bed in the morning.
Do you have any nonprofit events coming up or fundraiser events or anything like that? Or
Yeah, so we have the event in May. So it's a virtual gala, and then we also have a large watch party in Indianapolis. And this year, we're actually going to do, for the first time, a watch party in Las Vegas as well. And so that'll be May 26th. And then in the fall, we also will have a event here as well.
I saw something. Well,
no, good.
I saw something that said you help people with Parkinson. I don't know much about Parkinson. What is it? A mobility problem, or can they walk with Parkinson, or how do you help them?
It's a degenerative disease, so it's.
I know it's like David said, Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
I couldn't relate how you guys can help like Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, so that's everyone's different kind of in their injuries where,
Okay.
a spinal cord injury, it happens and you are how you are and you can make progress from there. And then there's the degenerative diseases like Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, ALS. We're not going to, completely fix you and make the disease go away, but we can help prolong the side effects. So with Parkinson's, it causes a lot of the shaking and trouble speaking and doing exercise and keeping your strength and really working on your neurological system can help prolong some of those side effects and keep you strong enough to be able to walk or still transfer yourself. And
like diet, do you help them with diet? I'm sure a lot of vegetables and fruit.
Yeah, we don't have nutritionists on hand at this point. It's something that we have considered adding in the future, but our trainers are all, exercise science based and they have nutrition background. So we will share, some basic recommendations and try to encourage a healthy lifestyle overall with our clients.
When you say virtual gala, like what is that? How does that work?
Yeah, unfortunately, it always used to be in person. And then when COVID hit, everyone had to uproot everything and find a new way. So we create a virtual gala where we film everything and people can just watch it from their homes.
Okay.
It worked so well. We have people all over the country that support us. And, when we're just in an Indy event or just in a Vegas event, only so many people can come. We found with the virtual event, we can tie in all of our supporters and share our message with so many people. So now we've kind of merged the idea together and do a hybrid. So we still have the virtual gala so we can be sharing, the stories of progress of, what the clients are doing or, the next big thing Sam's working on and, where all the funds are going that people are donating to us. But now we're also doing watch parties where we still have the event in Indianapolis and Las Vegas and people can watch from there and be part of the auction and the raffles. And so we really try to be as interactive as possible and get everyone involved.
Sam lives here in town?
Yes.
And is he at the location a lot or?
Yeah, so he trains with us. Like I mentioned, he travels quite a bit with the IndyCar team and other things he's involved in. But when he's in town, he comes and trains a few days a week with us and meets with some of the clients or, helps out with things here and there. So
is he actively like helping train other people or is it more inspirational?
More inspirational. So he's the one getting training. So he's constantly trying to take care of his body. There's still hope that there's going to be a cure one day. So he's doing everything he possibly can to be taking care of himself, maintaining his health. This also, even if you're not going to get up and walk again, it's very important to be maintaining your health and making sure that you're not getting osteoporosis or pressure sores or a lot of these secondary conditions because then you're stuck on bed rest for 6 months or so. So he comes there and trains and makes sure that he's taking care of himself. And most recently, he got involved with doing an exoskeleton. So for higher level quadriplegics, there's nothing out there like that where they can get up and walk in an exoskeleton. So Aero also partnered on that and actually got him up and walking, and he danced with his daughter at her wedding last year.
That's where they go inside like a...
It's kind of like a robotic walking suit.
Yeah.
But he has no control of his core, his upper body, his arms, so there's never been anything for someone with a high-level injury like that. So they actually made something, and he got to go dance with his daughter at her wedding.
Does he have it, or we're just using it for that one time?
It's that driven, so he still trains in it, and it's good for exercise therapy, and but he's able to use it for different events. So he walked at the Indianapolis Speedway and walked across the yard of bricks and got to stand up and talk to Mario Andretti. So he's done a lot of cool things in it, but it's also a really just good way to continue exercising.
That's amazing. We're going to have to look that up.
I have a video from Sam Schmidt pulled up. It's like a 3-minute video. It's his racing debut, if you would like me to play.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask to pull up maybe the website of the location. Why don't we do this? Why don't we play the video a little bit? We also can pull up the website of your place just to go through it as well, just the people, viewers. Show us what you got right now, and then we can watch the screen and talk about it as it goes on. Because this is the first time I've heard of him specifically. I'm not a race guy.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is the Corvette that was created specifically for him. So it uses an infrared camera. So as he's turning his head, he's actually steering the car. And then that straw in his mouth is actually a sip and puff. So when he's blowing, it's the gas, and when he's sucking in, it's the brake. And he can make it go as fast or slow as he wants. You can adjust, for going straight 200 miles per hour, they can make it a little easier where his head doesn't turn and he turns the car too far. But then for, Pikes Peak Hill Climb, where it was that windy turn, they can make it really sensitive. So he's able to make those quick, fast bracing turns.
How does he, not to go into this whole financial situation, how can he afford, does he have funds available that he was very successful? Because all this stuff costs a lot of money.
He has been very successful in his life, and he is, still involved in a lot of businesses in the IndyCar team. But this is actually something that was covered by Aero. So it's an electronic company, but they want to help people, and they wanted to share that they can solve problems and they can help in different ways. So this was actually their idea to do, and got connected with Sam. And Sam's thing was, I will only be involved if I get to go over 100 miles per hour. You never lose a racer. It always stays with you. So Aero actually covers the cost of this, and they didn't even patent the technology that goes into making him drive with his head. If someone wants it, they will give him the technology and the access. They just want to help people. So,
it's amazing.
Yeah, they've been an amazing company and an amazing supporter for us. So.
All right, so we're going to show the website of your location, downtown, Driven Neuro Recovery Center. So people can see the website, see where we're at least we get to see it. We saw a little bit about Sam. Like I said, I didn't know anything really about him, so it was actually interesting to see. It's amazing, the store controlling the car.
It's pulling up.
What are the hours in general? So is it Monday through Friday, the location?
Yeah,
Friday?
Currently we're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and then we're also open on Saturdays from 9 to 2. So we know it's a little harder for some people during the week to get a ride in there. So, and we are looking at potentially expanding our hours soon. Just we are getting so busy, and we want to make sure that we're able to take in as many people as possible.
I'm going to have to come down and see it. So anyway, we're on the website right now. What's the website?
Drivenlv.org.
Drivenlv.org is the website. So if anyone's interested, anyone that's disabled that wants to go down there, schedule's open. They're willing to work with you. The website is active right now as we're watching. And if you're listening, you're getting the information by audio. Map of downtown. We said it was, again, 7th and Bridger. Any issues about getting down there, whether it's transportation, you guys will work with them or help them to get to the location as well?
And we'll try to get it connected with the services where they could get rides down there.
Okay. And here it says basically you can call to book a tour, get a tour of the location. We should go down, John. You've been inside?
No.
We should go down and
we should go together.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really hard to understand what we do until you've been in there and really see us in action, and seeing people working their hardest, while they're in there. And it's open to anyone to come for a tour. We want people, clients to come in there and really see what we're doing. But if people are just interested in what we're doing and have a passion for it, or just curious, we'd love to get people to stop by and just see what's out here in the community. You never know when something's going to pop up and you or a family member might need this kind of service.
I'm so glad to know. Like I said, I talk with a lot of people that are in accident cases, that injured, that need help. Didn't know anything about it. It'd be great to refer people to this place, especially I deal with a lot of law firms, where people are injured. So they're always like, I don't know where to go or what to do. And sometimes, a lot of these cases are hit and run cases where there's no insurance and they don't have the optional coverage, which is called UM or UIM. And if they don't have that extra coverage, they're, they have to go through regular social services, or Medicaid and Medicare. I don't even know how much it covers, but it seems like you guys are going above and beyond, and especially, with Sam seems to be, you guys are trying to do more therapy in regards to holistic, or I keep saying fitness therapy is what it sounds like. You're doing different things in regards to fitness, maintaining your health or nutrition and your body in order to be more productive, whatever injury you may have, and hopefully feel better and get better. And then also, I guess, with technology and also with health, what would you call it? I was going to say updates with health. It's kind of like technology, like health, whatever the new health trends are, right? That, whether it's the spinal cord or,
Yeah, we're always looking for the most advanced research technology, whatever we can get in there to help people as much as we can.
So it's amazing. Anything else? We have about 8 minutes left. What anything else that you want to share in regards to what you guys are doing? Any messages? Sorry, any messages that you want to reach out to the community, people that are listening, people disabled, anything that you want to share about your organization? I think that John and I will come down and look at the locations, see what we do to help out. I would urge you, actually, I think John and I are very similar. We're up to challenges in regards to helping. If you want to make a bucket list or a wish list of what you guys want from your nonprofit, I think John and I will try to help out. Whether it's finding another location, none of it's easy, but it's something that we could work on.
We can work on it.
And as we meet different people or as they come on the show, we'll say, hey, what did you ever hook up with, the Driven Neuro Recovery Center? You should go down to 7th and Bridger. You should meet with them. You should connect. And I think that's what happens. Just like him, he's talking about wheelchairs. He's willing to supply wheelchairs to you guys because it's more of a long-term need. Do you need wheelchairs?
We don't in particular. Just if our clients do, we'll try to connect them, with the organizations.
Who do you normally speak with John previously, or did you have another organization that you dealt with? How would you normally get them?
Occasionally, people will donate them to us, so we connect with some of the vendors in the area. So we'll sometimes kind of give it to them to get them fitted for their wheelchairs or whatever it may be, or we'll just try to connect directly. So
we also have a mutual friend in Guy from Puentes.
Yeah.
And Guy is our communication, back and forth. And, you went to school where? Back in Pennsylvania?
Yep.
Okay. On your bio, you always was interested in this kind of work before you went to school? Did you know somebody that was in an accident or?
No, most people, they get in this field because it was, it hit home for them. But I actually just started volunteering in middle school with kids with disabilities and just kind of fell in love with
12 or 13 years old.
Yeah. And I thought I was going to go do physical therapy for people with disabilities. And, as I got farther in, physical therapy, they're doing the best that they can. But with insurance, it is limited with what they can do or how long they can keep people. And, I really wanted to be that next step for people. So since middle school, I've had just an interest in it.
Yeah.
What was I say? It's interesting. We could go live as well when we're down there, like Facebook Live and stuff like that, to get it out in general.
Yeah,
we could walk around, depending on if it's okay with the people that are there, or if people want to share their stories when we go down there, we could film a little bit. So I think that'd be good to get the message out. And we need to connect them with 211 with United Way so that people know. It'd be interesting right now, like after the show, we can call 211 just to see who they would say.
We know Paul Thornton. He's the number one guy for 211. And we did that with my wheelchair foundation too, and it took a while for them to find the Nevada Wheelchair Foundation.
You got to keep a check. You got to do like a little bit of a secret shopper
Yeah.
once in a while just to see what they say.
Yep. Well, we'll make sure on that between us two.
So make a wish list with that. We'll come down. We'll take a look at it. If you need wheelchairs, then John can help out in general. Let us know. Text us, when you need something. The one thing that I want to share with myself as the problem solver, I'm working with other problem solvers just like John is. As a problem solver, I want to help out. I did community policing as a police officer for 17 years. So I helped homeless. I taught the DARE program, the DREAMS program. I'm always helping people in general, refer people to 211. Old cell phones I used to refurbish and give it out to people that were domestic violence victims. So they would have phones in their home. God forbid something happened, they would have extra phones available to call 911. So if you have people that are injured, that are accidents, whatever their problems may be, and you don't have a resource, I like if you actually reach out to John and I and say, hey, here's the problem I have. I have Frank who needs some help. In regards to people that have been in accident and injuries, if they need an attorney to get the compensation or because of pain and suffering and stuff like that, we have the Las Vegas Legal Network now, which is a network of different attorneys. Every attorney is a little bit different. Some attorneys will come out to the location. Some attorneys will go to your location, the nonprofit. They'll meet them for coffee. Like there's different things that they'll do. Some will accept certain cases, some don't. Some don't like slip and fall cases. Some just take car accident cases. So I like to help anybody that's injured or in an accident that needs help. I find that most people just don't know how to deal with attorneys. They don't know how to make insurance claims. And even though myself, I'm not an attorney, I'm not giving specific legal advice. I'm just referring them to the right source of what to do. Even like today, someone got hit by a car and I'm saying, you need to make an insurance claim with the other person that hit you, not your own insurance company, so you don't have to pay the deductible and so on. So everyone's clueless. Unless you've been involved in it, you just don't know. So I like to put it out there as myself as a resource. I'm always 24/7. I'm mobile. I can come out. I can help. Whatever I can do. Now, we have a new phone number for the Problem Solver, which is 999-1111. So there's like 911 for police.
Yeah.
And the Problem Solver is 999-1111. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Anyone can call if they have a problem, then we can try to help them out and figure it out. So we'll work together in regards to it all. John, as we finish up, anything else that you want to share or educate the public as they listen or watch us today?
No, just thank you so much for coming in. Mobility is 15% of mobility in the nation, Nevada, is mobility. Everybody thinks it's hearing or whatever. So that's 15% of the Nevadans are disability. Mm-hmm. Did you know that?
It's very high numbers.
I didn't know that until today because I was doing some homework with you, for you. And is there any other stats that you think we should know would blow us away? That 15% blew me away. That 15% of Nevadans need mobility.
I think I shared it earlier, but the biggest stat that blows me away is, about 2 weeks for some of these people with major spinal cord injuries, major strokes, that they're an inpatient. That's baffling for me.
Yeah, the hospitals want to get you out of there fast.
Yeah, and we know they're overstaffed and stuff at this point, but even, pre-COVID, 6 weeks was just, not enough for the support that these people need.
So again, I appreciate you, Brandi, for coming on the show today. I think it'll be a start of a new working relationship so we can help people in Clark County. I know John is committed for all these years for helping people. And him, like myself, we're working together to help people in the community solve problems, whatever the situation may be. John's getting like wheelchairs and bikes and clothes and food. And we work with Project for Humanity, which is kind of my main source these days because she's doing everything to help people in the community. Shauna Gonzalez is really instrumental. She's going to have a new location, I think, over in Desert Inn by Sunrise Hospital, which is a good spot as well. Kind of downtown corridor, helping a lot of people in general. So I think us working together and educating people, I think that will help a lot of people. We'll come down to your location. We'll maybe interview some people, just get some exposure for you guys in general. I think it's great for me to know about it now because I want to call 211 later and they're going to be like, I have no clue about, Driven Neuro Recovery Center. So it'll be great just to get that on the books because that's the only thing that's really out there. And a lot of people still don't even know about 211. It's been around for probably about, I would say 17 years and people don't know about it. And again, there's 911 for the police. There's 311, which is not emergency for the police. There's 411 for this information. I think there's 211 for like if there's a gas leak or something like that. What would I say? Not 211. There's like 611 is gas. And then 211 is, social services, which is United Way. And now the Problem Solver is 999-1111. So anyway, thanks so much for coming on the show, Brandi. Looking forward to working with you in the future. John, thanks so much for being
thank you for having me.
A co-host today. I love having you on the show. It's great to have some different people co-host and share and some wisdom. And I appreciate asking some good questions and jumping in. So anyway, I'm David Kohlmeier. I am the Problem Solver every single week, Thursdays. At 4:30, we go live talking about different nonprofits, how we can help people in Clark County, whatever the situation may be where you have a problem, whether you've been involved in a crime, if you've been in an accident, if you've been injured, if you need help, if you need employment, if you need housing, whatever your situation may be, the network of the Problem Solver is different people, realtors, mortgage agents, credit repair people that help people. So whatever the problem you maybe have, you can call anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Again, the number is 702-999-1111. Again, we also have the Progressive web app, which is the problemsolver.vegas, which is an app you can go online, add it to your phone, you add it to your home screen. It doesn't take away from battery life, no memory space. It's great. Click on a few buttons, fill in your information. You also can click the button and reach the Problem Solver, myself or others. So again, I'm David Kohlmeier, retired police officer helping people every single week. I want everyone to be safe, be careful, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one.